A very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, Kulbhushan Jadhav's death sentence is our top focus. Now, India has retaliated, saying that it is a tantamount to premeditated murder. Well, that is our top focus this morning. All that and much more in this bulletin. Let us start with the headlines. India tells Pakistan Kulbhushan Jadhav's execution would be treated as a premeditated murder after he was sentenced to death for spying and sabotage. 16 opposition parties urge Election Commission to revert to paper ballot system. Poll body to convene all-party meeting soon on the matter. NDA allies are pledged to work unitedly to win a 2019 Lok Sabha polls under Narendra Modi. Prime Minister asks partners to ensure that trust of poor is not broken. Bypolls to Anantnag postponed after widespread violence during the Srinagar by-elections. Voting will be held on 25th of May. And 20% of military aircraft at a Syrian air base destroyed in its attack, says United States. Secretary of State heads to Moscow to discuss civil war and chemical attack. Well, a Pakistani military court has awarded death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav over allegations of spying. Well, reacting to the development, India has summoned Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit. While issuing a demarche, Foreign Secretary S. Shankar said, and I quote him now, if this sentence against an Indian citizen awarded without observing basic norms of law and justice is carried out, the government and people of India will regard it as a case of premeditated murder, unquote. Well, India has also decided against releasing a dozen Pakistani prisoners who were to be repatriated after completion of their prison term. Well, Pakistani Defence Minister Khwaja Asif said that the sentence should serve as a warning to those plotting against the country. India has acknowledged Jadhav as a retired Indian Navy officer, but denied the allegation that he was in any way connected to the government. Now, India has maintained that the proceedings that have led to the sentence are partial in the absence of any credible evidence against him. Also, the Indian High Commission was not informed that Jadhav was being brought to the trial. Well, Amnesty International has reacted to the sentence and I quote, the death sentence given to Kulbhushan Jadhav shows yet again how Pakistan's military court system rides roughshod over international standards, unquote.
अभी पूरी चीज का जांच होने तो उसके बाद बात करें।
आज हमें निश्चित तौर पर पाकिस्तान को सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करने की तैयारी करनी चाहिए और आज फिलहाल चेतावनी देनी चाहिए कि यदि यादव को फांसी दिया जाएगा तो फिर परिणाम पाकिस्तान के लिए बहुत बुरे होंगे।
India should take immediate action both at the United Nations and take it across the globe to make it an issue that Indians cannot be hung by a rogue establishment.
मेरा ख्याल है ये गलत निर्णय है और भारत और पाकिस्तान के संबंध वैसे भी अच्छे नहीं हैं और इस तरह के फैसले से और संबंध बिगड़ेंगे।
सर, अत्यंत दुर्दैवी हा प्रकार आहे आणि मला असं वाटतं आपल्या सरकारने अगदी जरूर पडली तर टोकाची भूमिका घेऊन कुलभूषणवरती अन्याय होत असेल तर त्यांना वाचवायला पाहिजे।
That is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day today. And on to some other news now. Well, 16 opposition parties on Monday urged the Election Commission to revert to the paper ballot system, claiming the faith of the people in the EVMs has eroded. Well, representatives of parties including the Congress, BSP, DMK, Trinamool Congress and the left met top Election Commission officials to demand the reintroduction of the ballot paper system. Well, the parties also targeted the centre for failing to provide funds to the Commission to put in place sufficient number of voter-verified paper audit machines for the 2019 Lok Sabha polls. Well, a senior Congress leader Kapil Sibal and a DMK leader T. Seva said that the Commission would soon convene an all-party meeting to discuss the issue further. Well, in a memorandum to the Chief Election Commissioner, the delegation argued that it was incumbent upon the Election Commission to convince political parties of the fairness of the EVMs and allow the use of paper ballots till that was done. Well, the delegation further cited recent alleged cases of malfunctioning of EVMs, including in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, to raise bona fide concerns on the possibility of manipulating the electoral outcome.
ईवीएम पे भरोसा था, विश्वास था जनता का या पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का, राजनीतिक दलों का, वो विश्वास उठ गया है। इसलिए ईवीएम मशीन के बदले वापस वही जो पुराना सिस्टम था 1951-52 से, वही सिस्टम दोबारा से पेपर बैलेट का सिस्टम लागू करना चाहिए।
ये हम लोगों का विश्वास ईवीएम से हट गया है और ईवीएम फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन तभी हो सकता है जबकि ईवीएम को हटा करके और बैलेट पेपर से इलेक्शन हो। ये हम लोगों ने डिमांड रखी।
इलेक्शन कमीशन कम से कम इतना माना कि हमारा तर्क बहुत सीरियस है और वो इस पर विचार करेंगे, ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग बुलाएंगे। हम चाहते हैं कि किसी तरह से आगे जो चुनाव होगा गुजरात हिमाचल से लेके वो बैलेट पेपर से।
Till such a time when as long as VVPAT is equipped in all the EVMs, we suggested that we can go back to the ballot system, which would ensure the voter that his vote is not tampered or anything like that.
News from Jammu and Kashmir now. Well, the by-election to Anantnag constituency has been postponed to the next month. This after the state witnessed unprecedented violence during Srinagar by-polls on Sunday. Well, in an announcement late on Monday night, the Election Commission said that the Anantnag by-election, which was slated for Wednesday, will now be held on 25th of May, while the counting of votes will be held on 1st of June. The EC said that it took the decision on state government inputs that law and order situation was not conducive to hold the polls. The EC's decision came after the ruling PDP appealed for the postponement as the valley continued to simmer with unrest after Sunday's incidents. Well, PDP also expressed its reservations about conducting polls after two government schools designated as polling stations were set on fire in Shopia and Pulwama districts on Monday. Meanwhile, the Congress and National Conference demanded Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti's resignation for failing to ensure peaceful elections in the Kashmir Valley. Well, Congress Vice President blamed the PDP-BJP government in the state over what it called was a total failure, saying that decades of hard work to build a trust in democratic process in Kashmir was being reversed by the ruling government. The Lok Sabha by-polls in Srinagar, remember, witnessed turnout of only 7.14% on a day which was marred by violence that left 8 people dead and hundreds others injured.
तशद्दुद मुफ्ती तो कोई अकेला फैसला करने वाला नहीं हो सकता है ना। इसमें स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का अपना क्या व्यू है, इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का क्या व्यू है, और जब हम कह रहे हैं हमने पहले इस चीज का अलर्ट दिया था, अब आखिरी मरहले पर पहुंचने पर चुनाव डेफर करना मुनासिब नहीं है।
Law and order situation in Kashmir has reached the lowest ebb. Never before it had happened. Even at the peak of the terrorism in Kashmir, people in huge numbers came out and voted.
Let's bring you some Parliament news now. Well, opposition Congress on Monday forced two adjournments of Rajya Sabha proceedings in the pre-noon session over alleged misuse of ED and CBI against chief ministers of non-BJP parties. Well, the government refuted all the allegations and slammed the members for causing obstruction.
As the upper house met for the day, Congress's deputy leader Anand Sharma alleged misuse of the ED and CBI against chief ministers of non-BJP ruled states. The Congress leader also sought suspension of business of the House under Rule 267 to take up a discussion over alleged blatant abuse of authority.
The enforcement agencies, the CBI, the ED, is being used for political vendetta, and that is something what we want to raise. We want to discuss. No. And sir, please allow me. The same state next to Delhi, in the state of Haryana, land has been given, Morni Hills has been given to one commercial entity in the name of a herbal park. and whose products are being advertised
you see,
and also being purchased by the government, Parliament.
Anand Sharma ji.
That is the Patanjali.
Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad also joined ranks with Sharma on the issue and accused the BJP chief ministers of various wrongdoings.
Sir, this is very important subject. We must have a discussion in this house. The BJP, the wrongdoings of the BJP chief minister. Nobody.
No, that you cannot discuss here.
No, the subject which Mr. Anand Sharma has raised, there should be a full-fledged discussion on the subject. So that everybody can participate.
Honorable LLP.
So the entire house can participate.
Okay.
The chair, however, disallowed the notice under Rule 267 and asserted that actions of chief ministers should be discussed in the respective state assemblies, not in Parliament.
If there is wrongdoing by any chief minister, it has to be discussed in their assembly. Not here. Not here. Not here. Not here.
Unsatisfied with the chair's response, Congress and BSP members marched into the well of the House to raise a pitch against the government. And the government slammed the opposition as well for disrupting proceedings of the House.
I have a request to the chair that whether you ask them to go to the respective seats and then call the members so that the members also will have a free distance.
Protests by Congress and BSP members continued unabated, compelling the chair to briefly adjourn the House twice during 0 hour.
I would request you to please go back. I would request the Honorable LLP to request their members to go back. House is adjourned for 5 minutes.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the government yesterday informed the upper house that it will implement the Bharat Standard or BS6 emission norms by 2020. While Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said that the move will check rising levels of pollution in Delhi and other parts of the country.
The government has charted a roadmap to reduce vehicular pollution in the wake of rising levels of particulate matter in Delhi. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar told the House during question hour that a notification has been issued to switch to BS6 norms directly from BS4 norms by the 1st of April 2020.
We have already introduced BS4 for fuel so that there is less pollution. We are straight away going from BS4 to BS6 from 2020. So we have mandated, already issued notification, we have mandated all manufacturers to manufacture cars and vehicles compliant to BS6 norms.
Responding to another supplementary, Rural Development Minister Narendra Singh Tomar informed the House about the benefits unveiled for BPL families in the Northeast.
किसी भी गरीब को जो जरूरतमंद है उस जरूरतमंद तक सरकारी योजनाओं का लाभ पहुंचाएं.
Questions were also raised on thermal power plants in the water-scarce areas and the Bajaj Committee report to address the pending Krishna River water dispute between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Union Minister for Information Technology Ravi Shankar Prasad emphasized in the Rajya Sabha that Adhaar is completely safe, secure and robust. Well, allaying opposition fears, IIT and Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the government saved about 50,000 crore rupees of LPG subsidy due to the linking of Adhaar card with the Jan Dhan accounts.
Government cleared the air in Rajya Sabha on the opposition's concerns on the implementation of Adhaar scheme. Union Minister for Information Technology Ravi Shankar Prasad assured the upper house that no one will be denied benefits of government schemes for lack of Adhaar. Referring to the fears of invasion of privacy, Prasad said the robust legislation has laid down the entire format of how biometric data will be collected, processed and stored. He said 34,000 operators have been blacklisted in the past 3 years for not following the procedure.
No poor shall be denied his subsidy rights at all. Be very clear about it. I'm sure you have also said that. Whether it is a midday meal or any other benefits. We will only say you also come on Adhaar. But no denial shall be there, sir.
Initiating the debate, Rajiv Chandrasekhar expressed concern over fake Adhaar cards, data integrity and privacy issues, and also exclusion of subsidies by making it mandatory. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh said the government has violated Supreme Court orders on where to use Adhaar.
It's not working in Puducherry, it's not working in Chandigarh, it's not working. It's working marginally better in Dadra and Nagar Haveli, but please look into this before you expand cash transfer on a national scale.
And who has this data? Some of them fly-by-night companies. This data is available to everyone. This data can be sold cheap. This data can be misused.
कि पूरी की पूरी व्यवस्था को अब नौकरशाही के हवाले कर दिया गया पूरे तौर पर कि नौकरशाही तय करे कि कौन आदमी किस लायक है.
The cash portion may be transferred to their respective accounts. That system is not good because poor people will tend to purchase not the essential commodities and other luxurious items.
My point is, Adhaar has become an obstacle for people in getting their genuine social security benefits.
Allaying the opposition's concerns, the minister said even World Bank and UN have praised government's Adhaar scheme. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And in Breakfast News, time for a very short break. We'll be right back.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Well, thanks for staying with us. Well, setting their target on the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, top NDA leaders met on Monday. They pledged to work unitedly to win a second term under Prime Minister Narendra Modi and asserted his strong leadership was required for India's progress. Well, leaders of 33 NDA constituents participated in the meet. They adopted a resolution endorsing Modi's leadership and his government's policies while resolving to strengthen the alliance by expanding its base. While addressing the media after the meet, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the NDA members met to work on their strategy for the future. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi also talked about New India as well as youth development. He emphasized that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana should not be neglected and public's trust should be upheld, and the NDA's expansion is a positive aspect. Well, this is the second such meeting of the Bharatiya Janata Party with his coalition partners since Prime Minister Modi was sworn in 2014.
The resolution has several features. It discusses the recent assembly election results, and it points out to the fact that the popularity of the NDA continues to strengthen as far as the entire country is concerned. It expresses its deep sense of appreciation for the very decisive and the bold leadership that the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has provided to the NDA.
India is only the country which is going to grow double-digit growth, not China, not any other country. That is possible only with Narendra Modi's leadership. It is also very clear. Because we need strong leadership, then only things will happen.
On to some other news now. Well, India and Australia came together on Monday to call for cooperation among the nations. On the second day of his 4-day visit to India, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull indicated his country's resolve to join the India-led International Solar Alliance and also agreed to supply uranium to India. At his summit meeting in Delhi with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Turnbull also spoke of the need for both the nations to take their relationship to a new level. Well, the talks between the leaders also focused on a supply of high-quality coal.
India and Australia signed 6 deals, including one to boost counter-terrorism after talks with visiting Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Hyderabad House on Monday. Both nations also agreed to enhance cooperation in civil aviation security, environment, wildlife, sports and medicine. Implementation arrangement between ISRO and Geoscience Australia on cooperation in Earth observation and satellite navigation was also signed. The two leaders held comprehensive discussions on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest and concern.
Our flagship joint research fund, the Australia-India Strategic Research Fund, is Australia's largest with any country, and it's helped our universities, research institutions and companies to solve the practical challenges in critical areas to both countries, including health, food security and energy, as you've noted. But there's room for further growth. We've worked closely with India to meet our respective requirements for the provision of fuel for India's civil nuclear program.
Our future is deeply tied to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. We therefore agree on the need for a secure and rule-based Indo-Pacific. I would also like to thank Prime Minister for Australia's decision to join the International Solar Alliance.
Earlier in the day, the Australian Prime Minister was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He also called on External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and visited Rajghat. Turnbull arrived in India on Sunday on his first visit after assuming office in 2015.
Australia deciding to join International Solar Alliance launched by India is a signal of political convergence between the two countries. And also, since Australia has decided to give uranium to India, it shows that in business also they are trusting to each other. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Shiv Kumar in Delhi.
And let's get you some more developments from around the country in Nationwide. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that over 75% of villages along the banks of River Ganga have become open defecation free. The villages are in Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. He has emphasized that his government has taken up this work on priority. Indian and Chinese troops held border personnel meetings on the occasion of Harvest Festival along the line of actual control in Ladakh sector of Jammu and Kashmir yesterday. The centre has informed the Supreme Court that it has stepped in to resolve the decades-old contentious issue of Sutlej-Yamuna link canal between Punjab and Haryana. Well, Attorney General Mukul Rohtgi informed the court that a meeting has been called on 20th of April by the centre, which has invited the two states, Punjab and Haryana, to come and resolve the issue. All right, let's get you some international news. Well, 2 adults and a child have been killed in a shooting in a classroom of a primary school in San Bernardino in California. Well, the shooting happened at 10:30 a.m. local time at North Park Elementary School in San Bernardino. Well, the 53-year-old gunman Cedric Anderson gained entry into the school as a visitor. He then entered the classroom where his estranged wife was teaching 15 children with special needs. Well, Cedric Anderson then shot and killed his wife and wounded 2 children who were behind her. The shooter then turned the gun on himself and killed himself. Now, one of the injured children, who was later airlifted to hospital, died. The other child was admitted to a pediatric surgery service and is stable at the moment, while the police chief has described the incident as a suspected murder-suicide case. Well, up to 600 students of the school were then transferred to a nearby Cajon High School, where they were later met by their parents.
Cedric entered the classroom and, from what we understand, without saying anything, armed with a large caliber revolver, opened fire on his wife. She was killed in that exchange. There are 2 students in the classroom that were behind the teacher that were struck by gunfire.
And the US has said that its cruise missile strike against a Syrian air base destroyed 20% of the military's aircraft. Well, the US had fired 59 cruise missiles at Shariat Air Base last Thursday following a suspected chemical attack in Syria a day before. Well, US Defense Secretary James Mattis, while revealing the details of the destruction caused, also gave a warning to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, saying that Syria would be ill-advised ever again to use chemical weapons. Well, Syria has denied a chemical attack on the rebel-held town of Khan Sheikhoun last week that left 89 people dead. But the United States insists that the Syrian government was responsible, then that its ally Russia also knew of it. Meanwhile, G7 nations are meeting in Italy from today with a two-day meeting of foreign ministers in Lucca, aiming to hammer out a unified approach to the Syrian conflict. It will also look at the possibility of imposing sanctions on Russia. Parallelly, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson also heads to Moscow today, where he will discuss with his Russian counterpart the Syrian civil war and the alleged chemical weapons attack here.
The sight of people being gassed and blown away by barrel bombs ensures that if we see this kind of action again, we hold open the possibility of future action. The resulting action of what happened ensured that their fueling operation is gone from this air facility. 20% of their fixed-wing aircraft were destroyed and knocked out. And I think by all measures, the world and domestic reaction was highly laudable for the president's action.
And let's get you some more international news now in World Wrap. US President Donald Trump's Supreme Court appointee Neil Gorsuch was sworn into its lifetime post on Monday. Well, appointment of Gorsuch restores a conservative majority in the US Supreme Court. Well, the court will now have 5 conservative judges and 4 liberals. Somali security forces have liberated an Indian cargo ship from the pirates who hijacked it a week ago. However, only 2 of the 10-man crew were rescued. The authorities said that security forces exchanged fire with the hijackers who fled to the shore aboard a fast boat, taking 8 of their hostages with them. And Venezuelan opposition supporters clashed with police over a grinding economic crisis and an erosion of democracy under leftist President Nicolas Maduro. Well, Venezuelans have been irate for months over shortages of basic goods and roaring inflation that have led to millions of people skipping meals or even surviving on starches. Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.